Looking at the Petroleum Industry Bill draft, the whole aim of this exercise that is drafting the new bill was to unbundle activities in the sector. Now, looking at this bill, do you think this is what the government has done?
Well, I think to a large measure, this bill succeeds at what it sets out to do. It sets out primarily to aggregate oil and gas activity in the country in one single instrument. Now, the history of that is that we've had to find rules and regulations and laws in various other pieces of legislation, with various institutions running around the place trying to get their affair going. What the draft, which I have been given the privilege of seeing, likes to do is to aggregate all of these functions and all of the rules that pertain to operations, licensing, regulating, and in fact, revenue matters are assembled in one document. I think it gets close to getting that result.
Now, you used the word reparking when we talked earlier.
Okay.
What exactly do you mean by that when you say that you see reparking activities in the sector?
Okay, if you follow the activity that it sets out to do, you will know immediately that these are all issues that were being treated by agencies that are different from the ones that are going to be treating them now. So I liken that to several cars in a parking lot, moving from the front to the rear, putting the passengers in one into another, such that they will travel a little more comfortably. That's why I call it reparking. To me, there's nothing radically new. It is the form in which it is going to take place that looks more like the new stuff.
Like you said, nothing radically new, but we'd love to know what are some of the new institutions that are going to come out of this, and of course, what new roles will they be playing? We're going to see NNPC ceasing to exist. What will happen to its interests?
Well, there are several new institutions by name in the draft that is going to Parliament now. You talk about the NNPC because it's the blue-eyed boy of the entire sector. The NNPC is now trying to do or become what its counterparts in Norway and Brazil and various other countries are, and that is become a full-fledged international operator with his own assets, with his own balance sheet, and lo and behold, what is going to succeed the NNPC is going to be incorporated as a company under CAMA, and that therefore will have an existence that runs like any other limited liability company in the country. So that's brand new.
What are some of the institutions? I mean, we do hear that we're going to see a national oil company coming to play. You said a national asset corporation, which isn't much different from AMCON, is going to come into play. Can you give us a picture of what exactly their roles will be? How we're going to see sort of the different roles being separated? Okay.
Well, the assets that the NNPC, for instance, used to hold are going to be transited into one or two institutions. And while that is going on, this asset management company will have control over the ongoing activities. I can just give you the best example I know. The NNPC is in joint venture with several upstream companies. Now, the activities of those companies will not grind to a halt while they're trying to set up a national oil company, which the NNPC will then become, and it will then use those assets as its own balance sheet for doing business. So the asset management company will hold those interests in the transition period, such that when this is a full-fledged company and all the assets are vested in it, the asset management company goes away. Such is what is going on in the banking sector, I'm sure you know.
Now, very quickly, how are we going to see changes in terms of the people running the sector? I mean, there was a lot of, in the past, there was a lot of mismanagement. We can't argue that. Now, this time around, how do they plan to change this?
Well, first and foremost, there's going to be a stricter accounting rule. Now, but let me not jump to the end. Let me start from the beginning. I'm very impressed with the fact that the various boards that are constituted for these new institutions are going to draw their personnel from the general milieu. It is not going to be a situation in which civil servants just move from one Ministry of Transport to another Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Petroleum. These institutions are going to run like commercial entities, and they're going to have accounting officers. They're going to have people who must show their qualification in oil and gas matters before they can get appointed to those boards. And that's the first time we're getting that kind of change in this industry.
Well, it seems like it's going to be quite an interesting bill. Of course, we're waiting for the passage. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Mr. Soji Awogbade, who's a lawyer and managing partner with Aelex, and of course, head of the Oil and Gas Practice Group. It's back to you in the studio, Samantha.